And welcome for the stream. I wanted to take a day off today and play some Nike, but unfortunately they're patching their servers, so it's been 4 hours, and I need my crack, I need my Remu Remu, but unfortunately Remu Remu is getting patched, so no, I can't play with her. I did notice something though, like most games that require money, I haven't spent any money on Nike, by the way. But like League of Legends and the other type of Western games that require cash, um, usually if you spend like I don't know $100, you're going to get most of the things in the game, right? So at least the essentials, I mean. But with these gacha games, holy shit, I don't think like there's a bottom to how much money you would be able to spend. I think like if you're a whale and you got a fat wallet, you can spend up to 10 grand and you may not get everything in the game. Like even with League of Legends, I think if you spend like 10 grand, you'd get every skin, every champion, everything, right? Obviously no one does that, but like I'm trying to think like what is like the max amount, like what is the maximum number of cash that you would invest into this game so you can have literally everything. um and I get why a lot of people in Asia are very concerned about these types of games because they are very addictive, and they have like I am willing to bet that they have a team of psychologists to figure out exactly how to milk the vast amount of money from their consumers, to like create different currencies, right? Because you don't just have gems. Like in League of Legends, you got riot points, but like here you got gems, you got um, data nodes that get your characters to level up. You got gear, which make your character more powerful. You got credits. You got like all sorts of currencies. And I think like the whole purpose of it is so that you don't just figure out how much cash you're spending, like how many dollars you're throwing away. Diablo Immortal, 20k to max your character. Jesus. Well, yeah, like but Diablo Immortal, I think it was made in collaboration with the Chinese, right? And again, like gacha games, they come from Asia, so they're pretty much expert in it. And Diablo Immortal, again, a game that had very little content, but a lot of focus on the gacha mechanics and stuff. With FIFA over 2 million, oh god, I don't even know how FIFA is like. When I was a kid, you bought the game and you had it, and you also had like your teams, and that was it. I don't know how they monetize FIFA nowadays. Like, what do they make you pay for each individual player? Like if you want to have Ronaldinho or Messi, you gotta cough up cash to get him. How does it work? Hello, aristocratic utensil. We're going to be talking about video games today. Snake Dude for life. But yeah, it's cheaper to hire WWE wrestlers. It probably is. Meanwhile, me and Genshin spend zero and have fun for at least 4 years. Yeah, I mean, I'm having fun with Nikke right now. I haven't had to spend a single dollar, but like I assume that there is a wall, like what these games do in the beginning, and you notice the pattern with all of them. And I assume that psychologists figure out that this is the best way to build customers of money. Like you start the game and you get a lot of currency, right? So like when you create the character, you do the first missions and you're just rolling in gems. It's like everything is just stacking up. Now, you reach a midpoint, and by the way, the game is really easy as well. Like you'll notice this with Korean MMOs, you'll notice this with gacha games. Like in the beginning, the game is just incredibly easy. You're swimming in resources, everything is great, and then you've hit that fucking wall. Like there is something at one point that you just hit, and you know that you can pass it. Usually that wall is not difficulty based. It's just like impossible to pass, right? Like playing Diablo and all of a sudden all the mobs one hit you, or just by being in the area you lose damage, you lose health. So when you get to that point, you realize, all right, well, if I want to pass it, I gotta grind, right? Now you're thinking about it and you're like, well, I have to grind for days, or I can spend $10 to get past it. It's like a very very little symbolic gesture. Like Nika, for instance, actually asks you to link your credit card, and if you link your credit card, it's like you don't buy anything, you just link your credit card, they will give you rewards, right? So is there like that little thing? It's like, hey, do you want to spend 10 days farming, or do you just want to pay $5? Right? So you're going to pay $5, and all of a sudden you get past the first wall, and you're having fun, and then you hit another wall, but now it's $10, right? And you're just like getting used to just spending money for the game, and this is how a lot of people get addicted. It's not that like people don't know better. It's like a lot of psychological tricks and manipulation. Again, they probably have a team of experts to figure out how to do this and how to perfect this. But I will give them this, like the gameplay is still there, right? Like the whole game is basically like a waifu collector. The waifus look great. The gameplay is fun. So yeah, I mean, the only free-to-play game I ever played that was good was Warframe, and I quit playing when the Chinese bought it. League of Legends is great as a free-to-play game. Let me think of others. There were quite a few. Path of Exile, again, really great game to play. It's free. I think like Path of Exile should be the standard. It should be the benchmark. Yeah, there are a couple of free-to-play games that don't have a paywall. But I just want to point out the the thing that came out recently. Apparently, Diablo 4 is coming out. Sorry, the expansion. The expansion for Diablo 4 is coming out. And I'm like, what? Did they not give up hope? I mean, I guess hope does die last. I guess, in Pandora's box at Blizzard, hope still remains. So, when is the Diablo 4 expansion coming out? I mean, this is like the best joke that I've ever heard all week. It's coming out in the same week as Path of Exile 2. Like, dude, that is someone at Blizzard that is sabotaging their company. There is no fucking way. There is no fucking way that, like, someone made this decision without researching the market, without figuring it out. Like dude, I'm making a smooth game that's like a small indie project, and my publisher is already saying, it's like, all right, well, when we're going to release the game, we're going to have to research the market, what other games are coming out, because, like, if you get a lot of other major titles, you don't want to push it then. And it's like, you have, like, these people that are supposed to do this, but apparently at Blizzard, they don't. Imagine pushing the expansion of Diablo 4 in the same fucking week as Path of Exile 2, which is a free-to-play game. Like if this was the previous Blizzard that actually did make amazing games, yeah, you would push it in the same week as Path of Exile 2. You wouldn't give a fuck, But it's not the same Blizzard. It's just the biggest wall is the limited banners and PvP. If you don't have max meta characters, you're screwed in the game after the story. Well, I just want to play it for the story, so I don't really care about the PvP. How is the PvP anyway? Like, do you fight other Nikes? Do you fight other Nikes from the opposite point of the map? Or Dragon's Dogma 2 is this Friday. Oh god. I don't know if I have time for it. I'll try it, I guess. The market team as Blizzard was kicked out of the industry years ago. I mean, like this is not about game development. Like, you don't need to be a coder, you don't need to be an expert, you just need some common sense, which, unfortunately, woke ideologues completely lack. Like, they just absolutely don't have common sense. And it's like, if you're going to release a game, which probably costs around $60, I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if Blizzard has the audacity to price an expansion for $60. So you're releasing a game when your major competitor that people are more interested in is coming in the same fucking... What are you doing? What are you doing? Give me 5 minutes because there's something I need to take care of. Well, probably less than 5. I'll be right back. Right, I have returned. Um, Blizzard is releasing a game. No, it's releasing an expansion. It's releasing an expansion for a game which most people have lost interest. Besides IGN, like there is a journalist from IGN that is genuinely hyped about Diablo. Surely not because Blizzard paid them, but they wrote such a glowing article. Oh my god, they were like, "Oh, the expansion is coming! I can hardly wait. Look at these wonderful features." And I'm like, "How can you be this excited?" Oh, it's because you're not a gamer. I see. All right, let me show you what's happening in the gaming industry, right? So, in the time when the gaming industry is firing people, layoffs, they can't sell their merchandise, absolute shit show, a bloodbath, CNN would say. This is at the game development conference, right? Like this is what they're focusing on. So let's look. Community management summit. How to grow your game by fostering inclusivity and diversity in your game communities. So keep doing the same shit they've been doing for 4 years. Alright, it's basically like, can you censor your writing and make sure you have the checkboxes, right? Like get your writers to bring the checkboxes. You've not enough black people. You've not enough gays. You can't ship the game. You need summon more gay people. You know, it's kind of like that. Future reality summit in identity and involvement, what players really want from AR games. I would say that this is like probably the only one that may have a point. It's like what players want. If I had faith that ideologues genuinely are connected to what the market wants, but okay. Independent Game Summit, protecting your team, funding your studio on people and not product. So I just want you to understand, like, out of all of them, like, we will mark the ones that have something to do with gaming, right? So like, these two, okay. Like, these two are fine. Look at the next one. Game Narrative Summit, creating diverse characters, writing what you know and don't. Right? So, like, their focus is on creating diverse characters, whatever the fuck that means. It's not on how to write relatable characters. It's not how to write motivational characters. No. Alright, well. Fair Play Summit, non-binary by design. Alright. Designing for a dark night of the soul. Jesus. Kind Games, designing for prosocial multiplayer. Prosocial multiplayer. When I play video games, I prefer saying some gamer words and have someone on the other line say that they want to fuck my mom. Okay, like that is the experience that I desire, but unfortunately, and I'm willing to pay for it, by the way. I'm willing to pay. But they don't want to deliver that product. Instead, they want to deliver pro-social shit. It's like, motherfucker, I'm pro-social at work. I'm pro-social in my real life. When I play in a fictional world, I want to be something that I'm not. I want to be a big titty lady with a plump ass, big guns, who is anti-social. That's what I fucking want to be when I'm at the computer. Well, what is this? Oh, you need to be pro-social. You want to wear me a suit and tie as well? Right? You want me to be like an Applebee's waiter or some shit? What the fuck? Anyway. Cancelled UX Summit, Inclusive Design Workshop, weaving accessibility into workflows. Yes. Who manages the community managers? In other words, censorship, right? So like we got one for censorship. Fair Play Summit, digital thriving in a post-pandemic world. A pro-social blueprint. Well, their obsession with being pro-social is astonishing. Climate crisis. Yes, so in the industry, which requires gaming rigs to function, I mean, gaming is not an essential activity, right? And the amount of power that a Titan 4X Ti consumes is bewildering, right? But like, these people are going to talk to us about climate change. Right. Use your game developer superpowers. These people are insane. Game developer superpower. Holy shit. To fight the climate crisis. Why not use your game developer superpowers to keep your studio from failing? Huh? Forspoken. Forspoken, I'm looking at you. Independent Game Summit. The Black Gaming Language. Can you imagine being a game developer and having to be subjected to this shit? How much money? Like you probably go to this place in order to get networking and connections, but Jesus fucking Christ. And I know how it's like. I will tell you how it's like. It's the reason IBS has fallen on YouTube. IBS was Internet Blood Sports, for those of you who remember it, right? And it was like a far right. Oh my god, The Guardian, I think, wrote articles, or The Independent, I forgot which one. They were very concerned about anti-Semitismus. And it was anti-Semitismus. But every single episode was the same. It's like, oh, the Jews this, the Jews that, the Jews. And after like a couple of months, people just got bored of the same talking points. Because they didn't have like anything new. It was like regurgitating the same talking points over and over and over. And even if you're interested, you know, even if it's like, imagine your favorite music that you love so much and is just played on repeat again and again and again and again. You're going to go insane. You're going to just stop with this music. Just stop it. So like, imagine going to these conferences and every single time it's like a religious sermon. We need more diversity, inclusivity. We need more diversity, inclusivity. And, you know, it's like hearing the same shit. How is it different than going to church? Because, like, you read the Bible, you know what Jesus has done and he accomplished. And then you go to church and they have, like, the same sermon if it's an Orthodox church. This is why I don't like Orthodox church. Like, they're very beautiful. But, like, after going to them a couple of times, you get the same themes, you get the same thing, and it's like, what am I gaining from this? Educator Summit. Prototyping Afrofuturism. Well, like in Haiti? I hope not, because that... You know what? No, actually, if you make a video game in Haiti, I would play it. Like, no, seriously, like, the things that are happening in Haiti right now are very interesting. Definitely not boring. I would love to play a game in Haiti. They will never make it, though. They poop their panties when they think about the Resident Evil 6 remake, so what are we talking about here? Resident Evil 5, sorry. But like, it would be interesting. I would love to play a video game in Haiti. Afrofuturism, abolitionism, climate justice. What is with that obsession with climate justice, huh? Again, in the video gaming industry, if you want climate justice, none of you should have jobs. There shouldn't be a gaming industry. If you genuinely believe the earth is dying, humans don't need to play video games. You know what? You can play video games. You can play Tetris and other shit that doesn't require the RTX 490 Ti. Educator Summit, Community Clubhouse Developer Summit, Building Safe, and Prosocial. No, their obsession with prosocial is just like... Look how many times this is their new buzzword. It's like they discovered their new favorite thing. Prosocial, 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 prosocial. It's like... And by the way, prosocial means censorship. That's what it means, right? So like every single point that they're talking about, it's like, how can we censor video games? Censor video games, censor it, censor it, censor it. Educator Summit, how to teach representation responsibly. I love the fact that you can teach representation irresponsibly. Like there is an irresponsible way of teaching representation. Future Reality Summits, learning from gender exploration in VR to design better social VR. Why not, instead of gender exploration, why not like geographical exploration? Like get people to explore the wonders of Haiti. That would be nice. You know, the great monuments built by Haiti people. I would love to see that. What do you gain if you know your gender? Like if you fully explored and mapped your gender, like you are the gender guru, right? Like everything that the human knowledge has encompassed and will encompass about gender, you know you have mastered it, right? So you are the expert in gender. What do you do with that information? How do you monetize it? How do you improve people's lives? Like, is anyone going to hire you? Like, what do you need to know what to do? I know to explore gender like no explorer has done before. Christopher fucking Columbus hasn't explored America like I have explored gender. I am the gender master who has been built on the benches of GDC with some of the greatest experts that the industry has ever laid eyes upon. I know everything about gender. There are things you don't know that I do. No, but like, ironically, their obsession with gender is astonishing. I want to find. Well, actually, I already did. You know, so, sorry. I need to admit. If I were to be a young boy again, I would want to find a woman that explores me the same way that the progressives explore gender. Have Money V, sorry I'm late. Well, welcome to the show, Rating Terror. I'm glad you're here. Rating Terror, if me and Arch would stream at the same time, who would you pick? Would you choose me or would you choose the Archcast? Decide now. EPR with VR, so porn? No, unfortunately not. Sermon, yep, Jesus is still dead. Well, no, it's not like that. It's more like, parroting the same talking points, right? Like, you know what the priest is going to say about this situation, and it's like, well, why am I here? It's like, I already know this. They are so obsessed with gender and can't even define what a woman is. Yeah, like if a person is the grand master of gender, like, we need to make a name for this, like gendriatry. If you are the professional gendriatry expert, would you be able to define what a woman is? Or is that something that only the divine can, huh? Like, we need to ask God. Like, once you die, you go to Jesus, and it's like, Jesus. No, Jesus goes like, you know what, my child? I will allow you to ask of me one question. You can ask one question and I will respond. Anything that has to do with the mysteries of the universe, I, Jesus Christ, will bestow this knowledge upon you. And you're asking God, it's like, Jesus, what is a woman? I think like that would be great. The Grand Gender Wizard. I love it. Oh god, like that's the title. The Grand Gender Wizard. That's really good, Gerbo. I love it. Gerbo has managed to enlighten me. Right, so like the Gender Master should get the title of the Grand Gender Wizard. You're in church for the community. You know what? I actually agree. Holy shit, who said that? Chris without the H. Well, Chris without the H. You know what? You're in church for the community. Imagine going to this shit for this community, right? Like, can you close your eyes and imagine how these people that talk about this stuff look like? Imagine the smell, as they like to say on Twitter. Seriously, like, I already see the rainbow hair and the Californian buzz cuts and all of that shit, right? Why would you want to subject yourself to that community? Like, that community has to be enforced on you. Like, you need to be, like, you need to get colonized by them in order to want to be with that community. Holy crap. Imagine the number of HR ladies. Oh, God, yeah. It's difficult enough to support one. But, like, this is the place where they gather. And they do jack shit. But they make money. I love this one. So you've been canceled. Now what? Well, if you're canceled, there's nothing. Again, I gotta point out, I made a video and I explained it because a lot of people. This one is by Anita Sarkeesian, by the way. So you've been canceled, now what? And she says a lot of platitudes as well. Like, she's probably paid to be there as a speaker, but she gives like a lot of platitudes. Like, now it's a time for learning, for bettering yourself, for understanding what you did and how you hurt other people. You know, it's like shit that I can come up with on rapid fire. Like, I don't even have to think about it. Like, I can get my testicles to bounce on the keyboard and they will write you a speech for you got canceled, now what, from a woke perspective. The reason, like, a lot of people were like, well, hold on a little bit. They don't think that you may get canceled for wrong reasons. And the answer is, like, that's impossible, right? Like, you can't get canceled for wrong reasons. Like, look, perfect example is with Zoe Quinn, who has a kill-death ratio. She's got KDA. A is 1. She didn't assist. For those of you who know the story, you know the story. But, like, she doesn't get canceled. I don't know what worse you can do online. What is the thing that is more disgusting and despicable than that you can do in order to you know, like if anyone should get canceled, it would be her for what she did. But she doesn't get canceled. Meanwhile, other people do. So the reason is that cancellation doesn't happen based on what you do. It happens on the type of person you are. Yeah, she pushed the guy to suicide, spreading fake misinformation about them during the Me Too era, where it was popular to do it to get clout. So she did it towards a developer that already had mental issues and the guy self-deleted. And she didn't get canceled. She got hired, I think it was DC Comics, gave her like a flagship comic book for that, if I remember correctly. If you're canceled, now you get to enjoy your struggle session back into submission. No, you don't get back into the submission. The struggle session still happens, but like you're never going to get back into their graces. But then have been other people, like Vosh. Vosh is the perfect example, right? So Vosh, he goes online and talks about the age of consent and how it should be lowered, and you know, like he's not using these ideas from his brain, but he's actually quoting from Engels, right? So like if you read Marx and Engels, you will know that communists view the act of parenting as oppression. Like, I'm not kidding. They view that children should be liberated from their oppressive parents, right? Like, this is Engels. It's not something that Vosh was thinking about. No one has a problem with that, right? Why? Because Vosh, at the time, was in the good graces of the community. He's talking about horsecock and geckos on his penis and all that shit. Like, no one cares. No one fucking cares. Now, oh my god, he's got anime girls on his... Oh, Dios mío. And what I love the most is that they consider anime girls to be child pornography, right? Like, this is what they consider. So what do they do with the stuff that they consider to be CP? They go, hey, look at it. Isn't it disgusting? Please share. Is that normal? No, I'm just asking. Like, is that normal advice? Because I remember Ethan Klein, he was on his talk show, right? Now, he didn't show it to the audience, thank God. But, like, he was showing it to the guests. And you could see that the guest was a little bit disturbed. And it's like, look at this anime girl. She looks underage, doesn't she? Oh, concerning, isn't it? Very concerning. Look at it. Look. Oh, another one. Oh, look at it. Look. And it's like, do you genuinely want me to believe that you're pearl clutching over anime girls if you're willing to distribute them further? Like if you're believing them to be indistinguishable from the real thing, and you're constantly sharing it with other people. Like, you want more people to see the vile imagery, right? Like, is it not enough to just say that it happened? Like, do you think people won't believe you or what? But anyway, right? Vosh does need just... Or maybe, you know what? Have you considered that maybe Jesus needs Vosh? Zoe should pay with her... No, I don't think so. No, it's... I do think it should be a crime if you lie about someone that you know is mentally unstable and that person ends up self-deleting. I do think it's a crime. I do think it should be a crime. It should be a criminal thing. But it is what it is. I mean, recently H-Bomber guy did the same, right? So, like, I guess maybe it's a trend amongst the left. Like, is what they... V, she's on the right side of history. Well, she's on the right side of the UN. That's for sure. Concern intensifies. Yeah, cancellation is sanctioned target acquisition. Well, the thing is like this, right? It's not that they will consider, if you criticize a company, if you criticize a multi-million-dollar business endeavor like Sweet Baby, they consider that to be harassment. Okay, fair enough. But when they harass people, they consider it cancel culture and it's moral and justified. Maybe they fear that if anime satisfied the PDFs, they wouldn't be as motivated to push content. No, I don't think it is what it is. I think it's just like the current. Look, I will explain what the whole anime thing is, okay? Like, to the best of my ability. It's coming mostly from the America, right? Like, it's a very old mindset. Very, very old mindset that still exists. And the first time we saw it was with Dungeons and Dragons, right? So, like, it was during the Satanic Panic. It was if you play Dungeons and Dragons, you basically want to summon demons and worship Satan. I'm not kidding. Like, it's in the newspapers. Like, there is even a movie that highlights the danger of Dungeons and Dragons. Then it was with video games. If you play violent video games, you become a psychopath, right? So, like, you would see Fox News every single time linking any mass shooting or any event like that. Oh, yeah, like this guy, mass shooter, but you know what he did in his free time? He was playing video games. And then it was with anime, right? Like violence, like Dragon Ball. Look, like you have Krillin getting killed by Frieza, and now Frieza impales him on his horn and is bouncing him around. And now the Mortal Panic went to comic books. Like, look, comic books draw sexy women, so it turns men into misogynistic rapists. And now it's anime, right? The essence is always the same. It's basically how people enact with fiction says a lot about them. It's kind of like that psychologist thing with Rorschach blobs, which is absolutely stupid. It's a bullshit test, by the way. It's not scientific. It doesn't work that way. But it's the same argument. It's the same German philosophy. It's that the way you interact with entertainment says everything about you. So basically, what they are trying to suggest is that if you like American slasher films, right? So you like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you like Freddy Krueger, you are a psychopath. Like, there is something inherently wrong with you because you like to see on the screen all this violence. Like there is something pathological with you. It's like being a kid that cuts kittens in the backyard. Like, you know, that's a warning sign, that's a red flag, right? So they transmit that to fiction. In other words, if you play GTA and you ran over people and you get the stars and you have the police coming after you, they think that you are a person ready to snap. Like, you are a psychopath, right? Like, you're supposed to play GTA by following the traffic rules and everything. Now this mindset of the way you interact with fiction says a lot about your character has existed in the United States since way before our time and will keep existing. But they change a little bit of the nuance. They change a little bit of the thing, right? So it used to be, if you like Satanist things, you are satanic, right? So, like, if you listen to heavy metal, if you listen to AC/DC, then you're probably a Satanist in disguise. Then it was, if you like violence, then you're a violent person. So if you like slasher films, you're a psychopath. Then it was, if you play violent video games, you're a psychopath. Then it was, if you watch comic books with lewd women, where women have tits shown, then you are a potential rapist, male gaze, blah, blah, blah. Now it's, if you like anime, then you're a potential pedophile, right? Like, it's literally the exact same principle. It's just like they change it a little bit for the new generation. I don't know what the next one is going to bring, but at least I know where the current one is. If that were true, we would have non-constant nationwide bloodbaths. Well, that was my argument, Rickson. It literally was. It's like, there are millions of people playing Call of Duty. Like, if you genuinely believe that people who play violent video games are violent, then the crime rate should go up rather than down. If anything, since they started fucking with video games and made them more boring and less people have played, the crime rate has gone up. Now, of course, correlation doesn't necessarily equal causation, but it's an interesting observation nonetheless. Mr. Muracao says, here in Brazil, a gossip Twitter page spread stuff about a girl, and she ended up auto-deleting. Says the page always sides with the left, no punishment. Dude, Carlos Maza. Do you guys remember Carlos Maza? He brought the apocalypse on Twitter. Sorry, on YouTube. Because Steven Crowder was spreading harmful and dangerous. Carlos Maza, apparently back in the day, spread lies about a pro-life group, and an unhinged leftist went and shot the place. And Carlos Maza didn't hold responsibility for that. But it's I may be wrong. I'll have to double check. But I remember when covering it, like that thing went on the internet. It was like decades ago. So yeah, like if you're a part of the left, then they want. This is why they don't think cancel culture is unjust, because they don't cancel you for things you do. They cancel you for who you are. If you're a problematic person, they will cancel you. If you're part of the clique, they then don't. Was Betty Boop the first Funko? Oh my god, I remember Betty Boop. The media might be fictional, but the attraction that you have for degenerate stuff is real. Violence is bad only when done physically, but having attraction... Yeah, but like... There are no human beings that look like the perfection that an anime character provides, okay? No matter how much I will search in real life, there will never be a Nuzaki-chan. Like, I'm looking at the girls from Nikkei. Those aren't relatable to human beings. Like, they're... Sure, you may say that they are drawn in a way that resembles. But let me put it this way. My animator, who's a woman, is turned on by my succubus. And I was like, okay, so you're saying that you're gay? And she was like, no, because women in real life don't look like this. So no, I do not think that, oh, well, just because you're attracted to this. Like, I know many furries, myself included, who was attracted to Rogue the Bat and other anthropomorphic animals. But I would never fuck a dog, you know? It's just the way it is. Now, sure, maybe there are furries that would go with an animal, but I don't... Like, just by... It's the same thing like people who like violent video games. They may do violence in real life, but that doesn't mean that, oh, I see little Billy playing Call of Duty. He is a potential mass shooter, you know? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. If someone likes to dream or think about degenerate sexual crap... See, Gigi, can I see your computer for a bit? Can I look at your browsing history? I'm like legit curious to see, you know, if you are what you preach. If I'm not going to find absolutely anything that my grandmother wouldn't consider degenerate on your hard drive. You're having conversations with your animator. HR will be in contact. Oof. If you can look at a character and immediately tell it's supposed to be a child, you definitely shouldn't be attracted to it. Well, the conversation now is not even about children, right? So, like, the conversation, just so you know what it's about on Twitter. If you have, like, for instance, My Hero Academia, and you look at some of the women that are there, and Hero Academia, female character, they actually had, like, they tried to cancel the author of the manga. Hold on. Let's see if I can find a page. Right. I think this one's it. Huh? Is it good enough? Can I show it on YouTube? I think I can. Right. So, My Hero Academia beauty beauty pageant. Yeah, this is what caused the whole shit. Right, so, in My Hero Academia, there's this character, what's her name? She's not a main hero or anything, she's just like... But anyway, right, apparently, if you carbon date her, she is 16. Now, on Twitter, people are pro-clutching because the writer decided to have a beauty competition in the anime, and she came up with this dress, which is hyper sexualized to the absolute extreme. Like a stripper is dressed far more modestly than this anime character, right? And it's a minor, so therefore, if you like this, you're a pedophile. Very concerned, like people on Twitter are concerned right now if you like this picture. I mean, I'm sorry, like, look, if you're into all of this mental retardation and you can't differentiate fact from fiction and you're willing to self-impose these rules on society, that's nice. That's nice. But I will try to buy a statuette of this waifu. I don't even know who she is. Nijo. Like, what is the concern here? That like people are going to find out where she is and have sex with her? Like, what exactly are they? But here's the thing. Justin Bieber, right? Justin Bieber, age 13, he started singing. All the women that I know were foaming about him. All the women that were like, oh my god, Justin Bieber, baby, baby, oh, baby, baby. He was a real person. He was a real person, and every girl had like pictures of him plastered on the wall, and there were pictures of him shirtless, and all the women were foaming. Where was the moral outrage? What was the concern? For Justin Bieber, he's a real person. He was not an anime character, by the way. Now, if I knew a girl that's like obsessed with Justin Bieber, does that make her a pedophile? Well, no, because it's also the stardom aspect, right? Like these aren't just characters; they're stars. Like it's the popularity and the whole fan thing. Like, you gotta take into account, My Hero Academia has over 10 million, at least 10 million fans. Like, are you saying that all of them are pedophiles? I mean, sure, that's a hot take. You'll have to build more prisons, I guess. But this is where the conversation is at on Twitter right now. Shibuya Kaho, I love the fact that people know the names, is the same height and bust size as Uzaki, although Miss Kaho is a bit older. God. V, this is what people get for allowing censorship. If you don't defend the first line, everything behind it goes gone. Why do you think I fucking defend it? Do you think I genuinely give a fuck? Like at the end of the day, I genuinely do not care, right? Like, I'm already married, I have a son on the way, none of this shit concerns me. But I do care about the censorship aspect, because this is how you get the fucking consultants. This is how you get the anime characters having Californian consultants to make sure that everything is nice. And then you get anime to be turned into Japanese entertainment. I want my anime to turn into to Netflix entertainment. I want my son to actually watch something entertaining. I want him to grow up in a world with big fat anime titties, big asses, and lots of guns. This is what I want for my child. This is what I will provide as a father, and I will fight to the death for it. This is the hill that I'm going to die on. God. Fucking American mindset with puritanical fucking values. It's like, oh my god, she is but a child. Because it's like, well, she's 16. So localize her so she's 18. There you go. Problem fucking solved. Wasn't Jasmine in Aladdin like 15? Was she? I don't know. How old is Jasmine? Let me check. She's probably not 15, I think. I don't think like it ever mentioned how old she is. In the story, she's probably very young because in the story, the most medieval stories, especially the ones that are from Europe. Well, where is Aladdin from? I think it's a European story, despite the setting. I think it's European. In medieval time, the age of consent was lower, so women had to marry quite fast. I wouldn't be surprised if the age of Jasmine is 15. Jasmine and Aladdin don't have official ages. Disney likely kept them purposely mysterious, and without the ages mentioned in the movie, anything else comes from archived or fan pages. However, assuming Jasmine is 15 and Aladdin 18, it wouldn't make a marital union out of the question in some countries. This is from a leftist rag, by the way, which is basically pointing out that, yeah, you can't really apply American standards to everything. Like, even stuff outside America, even stuff outside of our time. Yeah, in most countries, if Jasmine is 15 and Aladdin is 18, they could marry. I think they could marry even in Romania. I mean, it's 3 years difference, right? Majority of countries require both participants to be at least 18. For example, in Australia, they need to be 18. Yeah. No, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible for Aladdin to be 18 and Jasmine to be 15. In fact, it's probably likely that they were younger. It's kind of like Game of Thrones, right? Like Game of Thrones, R.R. Martin is taking a lot from history, and this is why a lot of their characters are very young. Like Daenerys Stormborn, she's underage. You have Sansa Stark, like Sansa Stark. Holy shit! Even in the movie, she's probably underage. So Sansa Stark has her first period in the first season of Game of Thrones, right? So like she's like when do girls have their first periods? Like 13, 12, right? And then she has she's got sex with Ramsay. a couple of seasons later. I don't know. I'll have to look on the Wikipedia to see. But yeah, like she's underage and she was married to Joffrey. Like that is definitely for sure. And you don't see the progressives freak out about that. Screw American standards from an American. You know, like there are a lot of good American standards. Don't get me wrong, like hard work and the work ethic and a lot of American values, like the First Amendment, Second Amendment. But there's also a lot of American values that are really wrong. Usually the ones that are pushed by the leftists. This isn't an American standard because the UN constantly goes after Japanese manga. I see. But no, the UN doesn't go after Japanese manga because they care about, you know, the age of consent. The UN goes about Japanese manga because they're not pushing wokeness. Like that's it. Like the UN wants every country to be woke so that they fund the UN and give it more power. You need to understand how the left operates, okay? And I'll give you the whole explanation right now. The way leftists operate is that they will say that fairness needs to happen in every single aspect of human relations, right? So whether you're playing a board game in your house, whether you're reading a comic book, whether you're doing whatever, everything has to be fair. So everything has to be equitable, everything has to be diverse, inclusive. Everything has to be good, basically, right? So goodness needs to exist everywhere. Now, in order for goodness to exist everywhere, you need consultants, which happen to be leftists. And more importantly, you need the government to step in. So when you're playing a video game, the government should listen on what you're speaking with people to make sure that your conversations are inclusive and fair and diverse. So every single aspect of the human interaction has to be controlled by the government. Now the UN is basically saying that every single aspect of art needs to be decent. And they set the standard of decency, right? So they're basically saying because Japan is making these comic books that are indecent, they require government intervention. Like the Japanese government should crack down on the manga creators to make sure that their mangas are decent. That's what it's about. It's not that the UN gives a fuck. I mean, the UN is probably competing with the Catholic Church when it comes to accusations of... Right? So they don't care about fiction. It's just like a vector. It's a way of attack, getting it in. Let's see. Remember when the Americans kept saying cultural appropriation this, cultural appropriated that? They don't care, man. It's not like an ideology. Because I see Devo and Sargon like often try to explain this from like a logical, ideological perspective. No one cares about logic or ideology. It's just like the way the left operates is if I behave this way, what will other people think? That's it. And by the way, if you're not a leftist, then you're not people, so they don't care about you. But you need to have that in mind, right? Like what do I need to say? How do I need to behave in order for people to accept me as a good person? And if you need to say that you're a cock, they will say that they are a cock. If they need to say that they're a beta, they will say that they're a beta. They will demean themselves. They will say factual, inaccurate things. They will say harmful things. They don't care. They will say whatever needs to be said, just as long as they believe that other people will embrace them. You don't think that leftists will say that they're a cock? They're singing this song. It's a demeaning song, right? Like it's not something positive. It's not something that people are proud of. Why are they singing it? Do they believe it? Do you honestly think that they have this level of self-worth? No. They're singing it because it would be acceptable at the time, right? At the time if feminism was the thing, now they would probably sing a song about transgenderism. It's not that they necessarily believe in these issues, but they know that if they say these issues, they're going to be viewed by their peers as honorable in a way. Is this the pathway to becoming a furry? No. Those people look exactly the same. Well, yeah, because again, it's the whole thing about the left is about belonging. Like, they actually say that it's about belonging, right? So a community or whatever, and deviation isn't allowed. Like, if everything is about equality, then everyone is supposed to look the same. How is it demeaning to identify as a submissive man? Because there are submissive men. Being a beta doesn't mean that you're a submissive man. It means more than that. It means a lot more than that. It means that you don't have ambitions, you don't have goals, you don't try to stop being a beta. Like, no one wants to be a beta. No one is happy being a beta, right? Like, what does it mean to be a man? Well, to be a man, it means to be strong so that you can defend others. The definition of being a man, and this is something that I came up with, is when other people rely on you. Like, if you are dead tomorrow, other people would suffer. I don't know what it is to be a woman, but I know that this is what it means to be a man. It's when... Think about it this way, right? Like, when you're a kid, you rely on your parents, right? So that is the childhood. And then you manage to become independent. And that is the teenage boy years. When you're not relying on others, but no one is relying on you. And when you manage to get other people to rely on you, whether they're your family, whether they're your parents or your wife or your child, right? You manage to provide for other people, and they're relying on you for protection, for resources, right? That's when you are a man. And every man should strive to be that. Not being that doesn't mean you don't exist, or it just means that you don't have ambition. Why would you want to be that? Why would it make you happy? What kind of furry were you? A scaly. This is a parody? No, unironically, it was an actual song that they sang. By the way, like being an alpha, or I don't like the term alpha beta, but like basically being a man doesn't necessarily mean that you want to be the CEO, that you want to be the leader, right? What it means to be a man is that you need to know what you want, okay? Like, what is it that you want in life? Do you want a family, right? Do you want a beautiful wife? Do you want to have many kids? Do you seek the pursuit of knowledge? Do you want to make a lot of money? Do you want to climb the corporate ladder? It doesn't fucking matter, right? But what do you want? Not what others want for you. What do you want, right? And once you set your goal, once you know what you want, you strive to get it. And you're going to fight tooth and nail to obtain it. You don't care about what other people stand in your way. You do what needs to be done so that you are number one. That is what it is to be a man. And to be a beta means that you will allow other people to push you away from your ambition. They will tell you, no, you shouldn't do that because it's wrong. And you'll be like, oh, okay, you're right. What was I thinking? That's a beta. You just do not allow... Sorry, like you allow others to constantly influence and manipulate you and do whatever they want with you, like you're a rag doll. You're afraid of confrontation. You don't even want to argue in your favor because you're afraid you might spark some conflict. Anyway, right. Has his own definition of what a man is, so he agrees that gender and sex is separate. But when did I disagree with that? I am the gender master. Didn't we accomplish this? I am the grand wizard of gender. Fighting with snark and rhetoric is relatively new for the overall population. Those people would get dunked in the toilet and shit. Those people would get challenged to a duel. Unironically, dueling was pretty fucking dope. I don't know why people stopped, but like the idea of dueling, like what is it? Someone offended you, right? So if someone offended you, the question was how much was the offense? And how do you prove that you were actually offended? Well, you were willing to go and duel. Like, if you're willing to offended, weren't you? Nowadays, oh, someone got offended over some joke on Twitter, call the cops. But were they really offended? We don't know. What if they pretend to be offended? We can't tell. But back then, if someone dueled you, yeah, they were pretty fucking offended. I'm fairly certain that if someone were to duel you, they were pretty pissed. I mean, you must have done something to genuinely slide them. Testing. Is the audio back? The audio is back. I like my only son to duel and risk death because he got offended. Well, tell you what, if that was the case, if I lived in those times, then I would train my son since an early age in the art of dueling. Like, he would be spotting day and night, so that when he does get offended, the person that did the offense would regret it. By the way, most of the time, the duelings were not to the death. Like, despite popular belief, the duels would not go to the death. Human beings don't want to kill each other, believe it or not. Most duels were actually to first blood, so it's also a thing. And not to mention, they weren't that often, because again, most people don't get that offended. And since most people don't get that offended, there weren't a lot of duels, unless people were bored. Usually, like what put an end to it, from my understanding, is that soldiers were doing it too often. And officers especially. So it's not a good look to lose your officer. Especially on wartime. With great power comes great responsibility. But like, okay, you know, that's an interesting thing. Who said this? Happiness. Happiness brought up an interesting point. I like my only son to duel and risk death because he got offended. How would you like your only son to go to prison because he said something edgy on social media? Like, his entire life is ruined. He will never get a job. He's now a convicted criminal. He's got a criminal record. And he spends time in prison, probably getting beaten up by other convicts. Because he said something edgy on social... Because this is the society we're in. Human beings don't like to kill each other. They unironically, they don't. Okay, well, I don't know the situation in Africa, but... no, like, actually, they noticed this in World War I and World War II, that there was a problem. So, like, most of the deaths would come from artillery and stuff, like, from far away, like sniper fire, and long-range combat. But, like, in close engagement, people just don't want to kill each other. So this is why in the United States, if you look at the way people are trained now, they're training muscle memory. So you have like that exercise where the targets pop up and immediately you have to fire. It's like muscle memory. They also do that thing with the bayonet where you have like, well, they used to do this in World War I. So they would have like a bayonet that was given to you, and you had a straw man or some target, and you had to charge the target and stab it repeatedly. They're doing this to actually take away the inhibition that people have, like the natural inhibition that we have. Anyway, right. I think it's enough for today. Thank you guys for listening. By the way, I will appear on a radio show, American radio show, with Professor Sebastian Gorka. Have you guys heard about him? I did the recording today. I think it went pretty well. I bless the rains down in Africa. Thank you for the $4.99 subject to change. Also your 20th super chat. Sebastian Gorka. I will appear next to a commercial of My Pillow Guy. Yeah, radio. Am I gonna get canceled, chat? Am I gonna get canceled? Am I going to get demonetized? I don't have the link yet. We did the recording, so it's probably going to be tomorrow, I think. How does Gorka know you? He watches my channel. Huh. I'm a sellout? I didn't get money for it. Should I have asked? You can't buy my game. It's not out yet. Anyway, right. I'll see what I got myself into. It was fun. I liked it. It was a great interview. I'll see you guys. Take care. I'll put the link onto Twitter.